Hi, if you've never seen one of my shows, this is Live with Lisa Accountability. Lisa Michaels, formerly of Beaverton, Oregon, and the Live with Lisa Michaels television show was on public access there. I did relationship shows and news shows about things that were not being reported, which I found rather egregious. So in any case, I've done a lot of shows recently about the politics and the current events and exposing things like election integrity, fraud, and that sort of thing. And that, to me, is the key to everything. All the corruption can simply be eviscerated if Donald Trump will actually insist that Vice President Pence actually begin investigating and coming up with proposals to fix the situation with regards to the fairness and honesty of our elections. If we cannot send people that are bad legislators that are in cahoots with big money, they're corrupt politicians. Let's just essentially say that on both sides of the aisle. If we can't vote them out of office in primaries, and we can't vote them out of office in our, in the general election because they have the elections rigged, then we simply have no country. And they're going to do what they want to do. They're not going to work with Donald Trump. They're not going to help him fulfill his campaign promises. They're just going to stand in the way. All he has to do is to, and you don't even need a commission to figure it out. All he has to do is to understand all computers can be hacked. All computers can be hacked. There's a will, there's a way. We need to go back to the old school, have everybody vote in by paper ballot at their voting place on election day after they have shown proof of citizenship when they registered to vote, and then after they've showed photo ID when they come in to register to vote. The workers at each one of the election sites can simply count the ballots, paper ballots, like they must have done them in the old days before we had computers. Send the tallies to the county elections. County elections tallies them up. If there's ever any problem, you can go back to the paper ballots and have them counted. We don't use any computers. All computers can be hacked. Did I say that once before? Let's just say that's anyway. So I want to focus on this one on a little bit more. I've got several blogs, and one of them is Lisa's Links of Faith. And for those of you who are watching this on my recorded video that I'm going to upload to YouTube. This one is my Lisa Links of Faith. And what I've gone through, I wrote a little poem. Said, I no longer worry because I love Jesus. I no longer hate because I love Jesus. I no longer am jealous because I love Jesus. I no longer am alone because I love Jesus. Now I love everyone because I love Jesus and he loves me. So that's my little poem, my little opening poem. And then this is a painting in New Mexico. It's just fascinating. A miraculous discovery of the Ark, the crucifixion site. If this is true, then this is so miraculous. And it was apparently uncovered in the 80s, but they've never been able to go back in there and find it. So, pray about it, use your own discernment. But it would be pretty amazing, pretty brilliant, and so perfectly, so elegant way to prove that Jesus is indeed the Messiah spoken of in the Old Testament. Because this Ron Wyatt, who discovered the remains of Noah's Ark and discovered the remains of the chariots and their artifacts in the kind of land bridge where Moses parted the Red Sea, he dug for about over a year, and got into this cave and found the Ark of the Covenant. And he went there the first time and could just see the gold, and there was split, the covering that they put over it to hide it when they hid it before the Babylonians came in to take over Jerusalem back in the day. it would have been split in half, and there was blood on it. And apparently, if this is true, he came in the second time, and there were 4 angels there. And this happened before Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it's kind of interesting how Hollywood tends to enjoy making movies about things that might perhaps have some truth to them. In any case, it would be so elegant if it is true. The story goes that the rock broke when they had the earthquake when Jesus was crucified. It split the rock underneath the where he was crucified, so that when his side was pierced, the blood and the water seeped down through the crack and broke open the covering of the Ark of the Covenant, and his blood is still on the mercy seat. Isn't that interesting how it's called the mercy seat? If this is true, you check it out. I don't know. You check it out. Pray about it. And that these angels, when he came in the second time, when Ron Wyatt came in the second time, they cleaned it up, and there was all sorts of Jewish artifacts there too. Anyway, and they took as the story goes, they took a sample of the blood. He took it to a lab and had it tested and had it mixed with a solution to make it kind of revitalize it, a medium or something. Keep it at room temperature and swirl it around for 48 hours, and then to look for chromosomes, because chromosomes aren't present once the blood is dead. And it revived the blood, and they were able to see the chromosome count, and the chromosome count only had the chromosomes for one parent, plus a Y chromosome. And they were pretty shocked, apparently, and said, where did you get this blood? Whose blood is this? And he said, it's the blood of your Messiah. And it is pretty powerful testimony. Again, you look at it yourself. But my website has all sorts of interesting things that just fascinate me to no end about my ongoing, perpetual spiritual journey to find out as much as I possibly about God. And let's see, I got to do something. There you go. About what's, testimonies of different people that have had near-death experiences, I think are just fascinating. There's so many similarities about all of these near-death experiences. And it says in the Bible, in both the Old Testament and the New Testament, that in the last days God will pour out His Spirit, and sons and daughters will prophesy, old men will dream dreams, and young men will see visions. So I think that's what's happening. I think it's getting close. So if you're don't have a personal relationship with the proprietor of heaven, then you need to do that, because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't let somebody live in my house if I didn't know him, and neither would Jesus. So you need to get to know him. There is only one God. There is only one way. And you ask. If you don't believe me, just ask. Just ask. Say, God, if you exist, show yourself and show me who you are. And there's only one that'll respond, because there's only one God. The other ones are all nasty counterfeits by the enemy. And so this is just lisamichaels.blogspot.com. lisamichaels.blogspot.com. Anyway, this one is Jesus Loves You, No Other Person. I did in that one. I put pictures of clouds as my, you call it, postage stamp thing or whatever that you see. Thumbnail, that's what it is called. And then says the disciples, if you've never really read much of the Bible and not familiar with it, the disciples asked Jesus, and you especially find this in, I believe it's Matthew 24, that how will we know when you're coming back again? And they said, he said it would be like in the days of Noah. Well, in the days of Noah, it was evil perpetually, continually. Yeah. And a lot of that's happening. They were interbreeding. There was satanic worship. It was evil. And they said that Noah was the only one. That's why they had to have the flood, because they just completely annihilated and contaminated and corrupted all of God's plans, God's creation, except for Noah. He was perfect in his generations. That doesn't mean he's perfect. That means his anatomy, his genes were perfect. They hadn't been contaminated with this interbreeding with animals and Nephilim and all sorts of. You look into it; it's fascinating. But the Bible, I used to be just the church. It's absolutely. verse that I'll read, and that's why we have Bible studies. He'll read one verse, and we'll read the same verse, and we'll both have a completely different response to it. It's just the most brilliant place, of course. You that have experienced uh, abortion or miscarriage, all the babies, they just go straight up to heaven. They're waiting for you. And everybody, countless experiences, and got treated to a visit to heaven. Preview, they say there's tons of kids up there, and they're waiting for their parents. But if you committed abortion and you made that choice, he'll still forgive you, and you'll get to spend eternity with your child. It'll be great. If you don't, not good, not prudent, not a good idea. So let's turn on. This video right here has a bunch of. It has one from Colton Burpo, the one from that. This is from the audiobook for Heaven is for Real. All kudos to them. And then this is a story about a little 3-year-old that went up to heaven before she came back almost instantly in our time frame, because time is completely different in heaven. And she went visiting around, and she was 3 years old. She'd never heard of miscarriages or any of that stuff. And she said there were all these kids up there that had been sucked out of their mommy before they were able to be born. So, they're up there. It's not something to be all getting on your high horse about and feeling guilty about. Yeah, you should feel guilty and apologize and, not encourage other women to make the same choice you did. But it's we're talking about eternity. Eternity is so much longer than it is down here. Why in the world would anybody want to waste so much of their life chasing after money and possessions and notoriety when they, you're only going to be here for a short period of time. It just goes by like like it says in the Bible, like a wisp of wind. I mean, it's over. And, you get put in front of God, and you get, you know him, and you get to stay there, and it's the most glorious, wonderful place. I can't wait to go. Okay, I'm excited. Everything's alive there. I started this because I met Dean Braxton. Dean Braxton's dead for an hour and 45 minutes. He went in to have outpatient surgery. They blasted his gallstones, I think. Kidney stones or gallstones or something. Anyway, and they blasted his kidney infection all over his body, and he went sepsis and died for an hour and 45 minutes. His wife literally prayed him back to life. She would have none of it. She was singing hymns. She had all her friends there. She's like, I want him back exactly the way he was. And he's as healthy as you and I are. Should have been dead. It should have been a vegetable. Should have been a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of stories out there. Just go on YouTube and put in near-death experience and Jesus, and you will find all these people. Some people have had near-death experiences and haven't recognized that it's Jesus. And I pity those people. Hopefully they'll do some more research and realize that this didn't all just turn out perfectly by happenstance over billions of years. I mean, that's the silliest thing I ever heard of. It takes more faith to believe in evolution than it does to believe in a creator, God. So I'm trying to figure out how to do live streams on my YouTube channel. I have several YouTube channels. Check them out. They've all been demonetized because of the fact that I've been censored for 8 years. So I dared to question the eligibility of our recent last president. And I did that within 3 weeks of him getting elected before the Electoral College. You do a search, Obama, not a natural born citizen, in YouTube, and you'll see moi as your first video, even though it still only has 20,000 views. 20,000 views, 8 years on such a popular topic. And they just stopped doing them. All this stuff gets worked out. We all love each other, and just take stock in your day. Just think that what a beautiful day today is. I took a bike ride with the dog and the cat. It's just, God is so great, and He's got so many wonderful things in store for you. Look at the positive into the negative side, and if you need some encouragement, pull out His manual of the Holy Bible. Just clean it up to wherever it opens. I want to say a quick prayer. Dear Jesus, I ask everyone who's watching this to please seek your love and your. This is the biggest thing, is that their relationship with you is completely different than my relationship. It's completely different than any other person's relationship with you ever created by you. No one religious denomination or credo should be directing us. This is a one-on-one personal relationship with you, Jesus Christ. and in the love was created specifically for each person viewing this video, completely created uniquely just to relate to you. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks, and have a very blessed day.